What's up with what? I'm coming down right now. I had to use the bathroom. I'm at the mall real quick with my wife and ran into my old man was here and we're sitting in the massage chairs. I'm going to use the bathroom. But anyways, I'm going to tell you something. My dad thinks it's so weird how I vlog. He doesn't even know how to log onto the internet or anything. He actually calls me up, Keith, will you post this lawnmower on Craigslist for me? Will you adjust the price? I'm like, oh my God. Right? But check this out. In this video, I want to talk about paradigms. This is so freaking powerful. What is a paradigm? A paradigm is the way that you see the world. It's the way that you see things. Okay, I have a question for you. Have you ever been like trapped, of course, in a certain way of seeing things that you're suffering repeatedly and you keep crying and bitching and whining, complaining and literally suffering over the way something is? It could be your small business, it could be a job you're stuck in, it could be a relationship, and no matter how hard you try to get out of this thing, it's like it keeps sucking you down and you can't see outside of it and you're trapped and suffering and you keep toiling and spinning and cycling in the same thing over and over again. Do you know anybody else who's stuck in a job and they're constantly bitching about their job, and every time they talk about it, you're like, dude, you're not gonna win in that job. No matter what you do, you're not gonna win. It's called a double bind. A double bind is a lose-lose scenario. That's the paradigm. No matter what you do, you can't get out of it. So it's like swimming with sharks, okay? You swim with sharks, you get your arm ripped off, you jump out. Yeah, but maybe one day one of those sharks will turn nice and change, right? So you jump in there and you think by trying harder or crying harder or suffering harder or seeing it through that maybe one day it will change. But what always happens? Like in a job, maybe you work some overtime, you make good money here. If you do something where you get tips, you get a little more tips here. But it always drags you along and it keeps you just at that point. Kind of like a job pays you just enough so you won't quit, but just enough so you go crazy and you hate it. That's just an example here. But I think that these type of situations are a paradigm where the only way to get out of it, almost like being trapped with a narcissist or a narcissistic situation, is to get completely out of the situation. Has there ever been a transition or a transcending moment in your life where you stepped to a new level, you became a new person, and you're now completely like in a different place in your life, and you look back at the old values and beliefs that you used to have and you go, I wouldn't even consider doing that or thinking that or being that anymore. It's not even part of my identity, right? So I'm talking about almost an identity crisis here. Is because what we're doing is we're making identity meaning out of external circumstance. Like if something happens that makes you feel stupid, you go, oh my God, I must be stupid, right? But you're not. It's just something. It's making identity meaning out of external circumstance. So what areas do we do this? How can we begin to breathe through it and identify it and then step out of the paradigm? And the ultimate thing would be something like what Coach Rob talks about. It's ego death, complete detachment from all things via the ego, where now you're just sitting, on the riverbank watching things go down the river. I'm beginning to see these things in people around me when they're trapped, and I'm like, dude, you're just in a paradigm. You're trapped in that thinking, and it's called content versus context. The context, there's the content. You ever you're going through something, you just want to bitch about it and you keep cycling the content? You had somebody ever bitch to you and you notice that they just want to, you're like, listen, you're stuck in that, stick with me for a minute, I'm going to wrap this up. You're stuck in this thing. Yeah, but blah, 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 right? You're never going to win there. You can't win there. It's a paradigm. It's a bubble. Imagine like a soap bubble or something, or like a labyrinth that you're stuck inside. The only way is to get out of the maze completely. And this is really a psychological construct. There's something called psychocybernetic feedbacks or psychocybernetic mechanisms. Neurons that fire together, and it causes a construct, an illusion or a delusion, because there's lines, level, states, and stages of consciousness. So what happens here is you get literally anchored and rooted in via the neurons in the brain, and you're rooted in these pathologies. So when the pathology keeps cycling, it can literally become a neurosis. Okay, and if the neurosis isn't taken care of and you keep suffering, it can literally turn into a psychosis, okay? That's where people go psychologically or mentally ill or insane, things like that. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to find things in your life that you're stuck and you're suffering in, and breathe through it and start to realize, oh my God, Is there a possibility that if I just change my beliefs, or I start to adopt a new set of beliefs, or get outside of this paradigm into something new, that I can actually start to detach and pull out of it? Okay, I want to talk about podcast number 2. It's coming out, and I'm going to put it in the link in the description below here with Coach Rob. He's going to teach stuff about this, stuff about breathing. He's going to teach a breathing exercise, and click the link in the description below. It's going to take you to either podcast, SoundCloud, or Spreaker, where you can listen to podcast number 2 with Coach Rob. I'll make another video about this as well, and you're not going to want to miss this. If you didn't listen to part 1 in the previous videos, listen to that. And there you go. I just decided at that moment that this is going to be video number 2 for Coach Rob. So listen to it and love it. Keith Kalfas, I Am Ability. Hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments. Over and out. Peace.